Welcome channel members. So today I got a really interesting one for you because I just started this and I had this on my main channel, but this one's going to be for channel members only. This is going to be a series where I actually go through and I will document how I'm building my business and what I'm making, what I'm spending, and where I'm going to go. So this is going to be a documentation of my journey. And right now, I just said, hey, there's so many people that don't know how to do it. And so I said, you know what? I'm already doing YouTube. So why don't I just educate and be transparent about how I do it? Because there's so many people that say there's no opportunities, there's nothing out there for them. And I would hardly disagree that there's so many opportunities, there's so many ways of doing it. So I'm documenting my journey, and this is going to be a lot for the channel members. So I'm going to say how I'm going to scale my business. And right now, it isn't that profitable. So I just started it, and I'm going to document the journey because it is so amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to document it so everybody can go back and say, hey, he's an overnight success. No, he wasn't. This was hard work, dedication, and leadership and training. So I'm going to document it, and this is going to be the first video. So I'll tell you what I did so far. So far, I've actually built some of the platform. We've built an audience, and that is just becoming from, engaging on LinkedIn, posting videos. It took me about a year or two to kind of funky around on YouTube a little bit till I kind of said, you know what, it is really important to just stay true to one idea and kind of just go with that. And so lessons learned from this to up till now is that too many opportunities blindside you. They paralyze you. They make it so that you cannot operate, because if you have too many opportunities, you get pulled in too many directions and you're going to lack the focus, the clarity, and everything. So lesson number one was for me to just stick to something and keep at it. So if you're going to do a tire shop and you see, hey, this is it, go with it and make videos, make YouTube, become a shop owner and say, this is what it takes. And all of these other things are like amazingly great if you can kind of figure out like, hey, what do I want to do? Do I want to do oil changes? Do I want to become a mobile mechanic? Do I want to start flipping cell phones? There are all these opportunities out there that you can actually use and actually learn from, because there's people making $100,000 a year with actually doing like flipping cell phones. I saw this guy that actually said, hey, I'll teach you how I buy cell phones in my local market, and you can do it too, our Facebook marketplace, and then I'll flip them on eBay and I make a killer. Or he does some other stuff, or he doesn't. And yeah, absolutely amazing. So if you want to be interviewed for channel members and you have an amazing business and how you do it, shoot me a message so we can set up a Zoom call. Would love to talk to you about it, because I'm going to interview people of how they've done it, and I'm documenting my journey. So then everybody can go back and say, oh, this journey that I'm on is absolutely amazing. So figured out the niche, right? So you got to do that. You got to put in some work and think about it. Just don't pounce on it before you know what you're actually truly passionate. And that might require you to kind of soul search a little bit to figure out where you want to go in life, right? So if you want to be virtual, if you have plans of moving in the future, or your wife or your spouse says, I don't like Denver, Colorado, or I don't like Miami, and it's probably not a good idea then for you to start a business that is right in that area. Maybe it has to be a virtual one where you sell affiliates or something else, right? So figure that one out. Where do you want to go, and kind of back engineer it. So if you want to become like a rental car company, and you're like, I want to be a rental car company, luxury rental cars in the middle of Kansas, right? So that isn't going to be that amazing, because if you're a rental car company in Kansas, then is there enough audience, right? Is there enough people for me to actually sell my services to, right? And the same thing goes like, I want to start a pool company or I want to start something else where there's no pools, right? People don't have pools, or people don't have it. Or it's like I want to start a snowplow company in Arizona. And if there's not a lot of snow and you can't sell your services year round, I do not know how that's going to work out. So think about it, see what your marketplace needs, try to solve a problem. So in the instance for my company is I'm solving the problem that a lot of people don't know how to interview, how to put a resume together, and how the whole networking thing goes, and how to get a high-paying job. So my problem to the solution is I'm going to offer them a really good price on coaching, right? So it's going to be a community-based style, and I'm going to have people actually go log in on school, right? I'm going to use that platform. I could develop my own, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to develop it. I use somebody else's platform to kind of monetize it. And then afterwards, I'm going to move forward, right? So figure that out. And then once you know where you want to go, what you want to do, then you're like, okay, I got my niche figured out. I got my audience that I want to cater to. And then you do the research with real estate. Why would I say that? So if you go and you look at, so this is really key if you have a physical store or you want to create a business that caters to a service provider. So what you're going to do is you're going to find something for sale, a business like this that's for sale on Craigslist or on LoopNet or wherever you can find it. Because what that allows you to do is it finds you to find a dossier. You will get a dossier for the demographic that lives around here. So what does that do? That allows you to figure out what the income is, because that realtor actually did the research and see what is around in the 15-mile, 20-mile, or 30-mile radius. And you can see income, you can see home ownership, you can see how much traffic there is. And so all of these things are going to relate into sales at one point, right? Because if you're going to see that these people do not have any money, then, and you want to sell a high-end service, it might not be worth it. But if you see, oh, there's a lot of people that are going to do my service or that can able to afford it, then you can actually say, hey, this is how it's going to go. And so let me show you what I'm talking about.
So how do you do research, or how I would do research? So how I do research in the most effective way is always I go on websites like LoopNet and I try to get some free information out of it. So if you want to open up a business in this area around here, you always come in and say, hey, this is the airport, everything else. So let's go see what this is, right? So I go in here and I kind of just scroll around to see what's available for lease, because if there's nice objects for lease, that means you can actually that investors are going to flock to it, and it's going to be a nicer area, right? So I came to this one, and you can pick yours. I just picked this one for right now because there's information that I love to see. I love to see what people want to see in these nicer end zones, right, or in this nicer ends area. So I always go to the brochure, and this is where all this information kind of comes in. You see the shop where all these retail centers are, and if there is competitors around you or what you're trying to do, right? But the key thing isn't any of this stuff. The key thing is right here. And the key thing is that there's 27,000 residents within 1 mile radius. There's 135,000 within 3 mile radius, and all this other stuff. So what's the income, right? You're like, what do you mean? So, okay, the average household income in this area is $27,000. And within 3 mile radius, this is the income. So this is a nicer, higher end income area. And so then you're going to use some other sites to see what the income is, and you use some other tools to then fact check it. And this took me, what did this not take me, a minute or two? So then you go on some other sites to see even more about zip codes and everything else. But now you got a pretty good overview on what you should look at, right?
Okay, so you just saw that. That was one example that didn't cost me any money, but it's crucial to see where you're going to start your business, because the surrounding area will tell you a lot about the demographic, who you're going to have as a customer, and who are you going to cater to. Because for us, it's like if you cater to everybody, you cater to nobody. So it's really, really important that you, as the new owner of this business is going to kind of come up with that good ideas of kind of come up with all these standard rated operating procedures. It's good to know who's your target, who's your audience, and what problem you're going to solve for. And there is no better way than actually having all that information. And the more information you have, the easier it's going to be to actually figure out who you're going to sell to, what you're going to do, and how you're going to do it. So that is key. And I wish I would have had somebody tell me that, but I had to figure it out by myself, and I did that. So figured it out by myself. If you got to figure that out, that's all. So what I'm doing right now is I'm teaching you guys everything. So I'm teaching you guys years of me, of trial and error, of spending thousands of dollars and then kind of going out of business, spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, to fail my way to success. And if I can save you guys 10, 20, 30, 100, $1,000, $2,000, hey, it's worth it. So if you like this video so far, please click like, and yeah, hopefully other people might find this valuable also. So down to the journey. So we're looking at the target audience. We did some research on it, and we kind of figured out who or what service we're going to pick, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to start marketing. So now what I want you to do is go on LinkedIn, go on Facebook, and see what your competitors are doing. Every company has about 17 competitors, right? So what do they offer? What's their price point? What's their strategy? What's their sales? What's their marketing like? So you're gonna do competitor analysis, right? So you're gonna go and see if you wanna open up a Chick-fil-A, right? Or you wanna open up next to a Chick-fil-A and sell chicken sandwiches. How good of a business that gonna be? Probably not so great, right? Because you don't have the name recognition. If people wanna go, they're gonna go to Chick-fil-A, and you're not like Burger King or McDonald's that can spend thousands in advertising and then kind of come up with a good product, right? So what you want to do is go see who your competitors are in your target audience. And this is going to require you to drive around, see what it is, and talk about it. And what you got to have to come to terms with is saying it out loud. So I noticed that a lot of people can't say out loud what their intentions are or what they're going to do. For me, I'm going to be building the biggest online platform besides LinkedIn for job seekers, community guidance, and salary negotiations and networking opportunities. So this is what I'm planning on doing. So now you can say what you're going to say. And now I want you to say it. I like it. I like it. So what you're going to have to do is make sure that you have somebody that's done it before or that has really succeeded. And one thing comes to mind is you got to find somebody that is 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, not 10. So if you want to open up an online store and you're looking at, oh, I'm going to sell stuff online. Don't, even if you have access to Jeff Bezos, what he will give, the advice he will give you now is completely different than the advice he would have given you when he just started off. So find somebody online and see if you can find somebody that's just 1 or 2 steps ahead. And what do you do with that? You start asking them questions. Hey, how do you grow it? And if you already have a business and you want to grow the sales, what results into more sales? So start going on YouTube, start going online, and see somebody that's legit, not some guru selling courses. And you got to go and see, hey, I know this guy who's doing 2 million in sales. You go to SEMA. If you're in the car industry, you go to conventions and you say, hey, I'm at this place. And there's always people that are transparent about it, because if you're transparent about it, you know you're confident and you know that you have a good product. So when somebody comes to me and says, hey, how much is your community making? I'm saying a few $1,000s a month. We're growing it. It's not a finished product yet. We're just getting started. And so when you're saying, hey, how much is this? How much is that? And you're like, how much is your store making? And you're saying, my store is making $60,000 gross, and my take home, my net profit is $5,000-$6,000. And you go talk to somebody else and say, hey, where's your biggest operating expense? So you got to start tracking it. And you say, oh, this tire machine, people spent the most amount of time on this machine. So is it worth me investing 50, 30, 10, $20,000 in making my shop more efficient, so I have more time to actually do more business to then reach up another level. And this is what you gotta have to ask, not me, because I've not done it. I've not done the tire industry, I've not done any kind of car sales, but somebody that's 1 or 2 steps ahead. So if you're a small dealer, you gotta ask a little bit bigger dealer, hey, how do you do it? How do you get to where I wanna go? And it's not the same advice. If you're starting off and you got like 40, 50 cars, if you ask the CEO of AutoNation, one of the biggest car salesmen, is like, how did you get there? It's gonna be a lot different than somebody that you're gonna say, hey, what is it, when they just have 1 or 2 dealerships, right? So key, 1 or 2 steps ahead. Let me know if this makes any sense, and I will see you guys in the next one. So it's gonna start documenting. It's gonna be somewhat on the computer. It's gonna be a little bit more informal. So like and subscribe, baby, but you're a channel member, so just make sure to stay tuned. This was episode 1 of many of building the biggest community for job seekers in the world.